it's a difficult one, especially with boxing, because you don't know what's going to go on. You don't know who's going to win. You don't know who's going to lose and where they're going to end up and stuff. So trying to plan your career long term in boxing and pick individuals and things.
Just my opinion, I honestly think Fabio Wardley should stop boxing, because from where he started here to where he's got to there, he's better than most he's better than most boxers. But I don't think he can go back to the drawing board and learn enough now to forward his career, because he has sustained a lot of damage. He's put himself in the position, do you understand, by getting damaged in fights and having hard fights.
I genuinely think he took way too much punishment, and that's, I mean, that was so severe. If I were him, I'd never fight again.
Fabio Wardley announces retirement after brutal knockout defeat to Daniel Dubois, emotionally admitting that the crushing loss has completely broken him mentally and physically. The British heavyweight revealed he no longer feels capable of continuing inside the ring after enduring such brutal punishment, leaving fans shocked as one of boxing's toughest warriors appears ready to walk away from the sport for good.
That's something I'll need to total up along the way. There's a few things about my style, about the way I fight and things I do that I'll need to tighten up as well. But look, it all takes time. I'm in no immediate rush. I've still got a lot of time.
Fabio Wardley admits that this was a difficult night for him, explaining that it took him several rounds to even understand what was going wrong inside the ring. He talks about the struggle, the learning process, and how the fans get another chance to witness it. But you can hear the frustration in his words as he describes it being a bitter pill to swallow after such a painful experience.
And because that means they get to see it again, maybe, and they get another go at it. So yeah, it's still a bitter pill to swallow. It's not a loss.
Duke McKenzie doesn't hold back in his assessment, praising Fabio Wardley's huge heart, but warning that the brutal punishment he absorbed was so severe it raises real questions about his future in boxing, with many now believing he may need to seriously consider retirement after such a damaging and punishing defeat.
Has got a heart as big as a bucket, and some of the punches he took last night, he may not come back from, because he was taking right hands, he was eating them so flush. It was quite brutal to watch at times. I've actually felt sorry for Fabio.
Dominic Ingle delivers a brutally honest take, stating he genuinely believes Fabio Wardley should consider stepping away from boxing. He argues that despite Wardley's clear improvement and toughness, the accumulated damage from his hard fights may have reached a point where a full rebuild is no longer realistic, questioning whether he can truly progress further at elite level after such punishment.
There's a slight difference fighting a world champion, a legitimate world champion for a title, and beating a world champion who's already a world champion. And Fabio Wardley hasn't beat a current world champion to be the champion, has he?
Joseph Parker's been a champion.
Yeah, but he wasn't the champion,
No.
right?
Barry McGuigan is even more direct here, clearly stating he does not believe Fabio Wardley should fight again, and warning that a rematch would be far too dangerous after the level of punishment he has taken. He stresses the severity of the damage and says that if it were up to him, Wardley should step away from boxing entirely, underlining just how concerning the aftermath of this fight really is.
I think he should fight. I genuinely don't think he should take that rematch. I think that's too dangerous. I genuinely think he took way too much punishment, and that's, I mean, that was so severe. If I were him, I'd never fight again.
Frank Warren shows a more supportive and balanced tone here, expressing hope that Fabio Wardley doesn't walk away from boxing despite the emotional aftermath of the defeat. He acknowledges Wardley's involvement in some great fights and suggests that with the right guidance and support system, there is still a path forward for him. It's less about fear and more about trying to steady the situation after a very difficult moment in his career.
Well, I hope that's not going to be the case for him, and if he carries on, you know, we certainly would be looking to help him in that way. But look, he's been involved in some of the great.
Eddie Hearn takes a more critical and observational approach, reflecting on Wardley's recent fight and mindset going into it. He highlights a lack of confidence and energy around the camp, suggesting something felt off even before the ring walk. Hearn questions the decision to take the fight in the first place, hinting that it may not have been the right move at this stage of Wardley's career after such a physically and mentally draining experience.
Of him. How good of a servant has he been to box?
He's a great guy. I just felt this week, I couldn't, like I've been around him a lot of fight weeks, I just didn't feel any kind of confidence or buzz. And I think when I heard that this fight was getting made, I thought that's a strange fight for him to take.
Johnny Nelson breaks down Fabio Wardley's performance in technical detail, explaining that he actually started the fight well with solid shape, effective jab work, and decent movement for a heavyweight. However, he points out the critical flaw in his game: the lack of a plan B when things stopped working. Nelson highlights how everything unraveled from the middle rounds, with Wardley losing structure under pressure and struggling to recover once he started getting hit cleanly.
Couple rounds.
Listen, the fight was supposed to stop in round 10 because his nose was bleeding so badly.
What's next for them? I'm hearing a rematch calls. If not, who do you want to see him fight?
Nobody wants to see the rematch.
Frank Warren delivers a more celebratory perspective, describing the fight as a phenomenal spectacle from start to finish. He highlights the drama, the swings in momentum, and the resilience shown by both fighters, especially the way Daniel Dubois fought back from adversity and Wardley's willingness to keep firing under pressure. Warren frames it as a privilege to witness, focusing on the entertainment value and the spirit of a true heavyweight battle.
Said it, don't blink, it's going to be the most amazing few rounds. It was much better than that. It was just a phenomenal fight, phenomenal to watch, to witness and see these two guys, what they did, bearing their soul and Daniel getting off the floor and the canvas and coming back how he did. And it swung both ways to fight, and it was just.
Don Charles delivers a strong and emotional defense of Fabio Wardley, insisting that nobody can question his heart or commitment after this fight. He rejects the quitter narrative completely, praising Wardley for showing championship-level mentality and suggesting that his journey is far from over. His tone is uplifting, framing Wardley as a fighter who has earned respect regardless of the result and still has more to achieve in the heavyweight division.
Nobody could ever question this young man again. Yeah? All that quitting nonsense, nobody will ever question him again.
Two-time heavyweight champion of the world under you.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
There's more to come. There's more to come. We were in there with a very dangerous fighter in the name of Fabio Wardley. He should be proud of himself.
Buddy McGirt calls it a hell of a fight, but points to the early knockdown as the turning point that changed everything. He explains how Wardley became too predictable afterward, focusing mainly on one weapon instead of using his full skill set. Despite the criticism, McGirt still recognizes his heart and toughness, suggesting that the performance was brave enough to warrant a rematch and further proving Wardley's warrior mentality.
Hell of a fight. I think the worst thing that happened was that knockdown in the first round. After that, Wardley was just looking for that right hand. No jabs, no defense, no left hook. Sorry, meat and chicken. You know what I mean? But it was a hell of a fight. He showed the heart of a champion, and I think there should be a rematch.
Derek Chisora comes in with a far more aggressive and raw assessment, criticizing Fabio Wardley's performance as technically lacking and one-dimensional. He argues that Wardley relied too heavily on power shots without setting them up properly, especially through the jab. His frustration is clear as he suggests the preparation and execution were not at the level required for elite boxing, highlighting missed basics in a high-pressure fight.
Fabio was not ready for boxing. You no jab, nothing, looking for power shots. It's like he didn't train. He was busy commentating. Little bastard. He was supposed to fucking train in the gym. How many jabs did Fabio chuck? Last jab, he didn't chuck no jabs. He didn't do anything we've seen before.
Fraser Clark praises Daniel Dubois as an absolute warrior in what was a brutal, all-action heavyweight clash. He admits the fight wasn't the most technically perfect display, but it delivered everything fans wanted in terms of drama, blood, and relentless exchanges. Clark reflects on the intensity of the battle, noting how both fighters were pushed to their physical and mental limits. He also highlights Dubois' ability to adapt and learn during the fight, especially after facing early adversity and knockdowns. Despite the chaos, Clark believes Dubois showed growth, resilience, and the ability to improve under pressure, suggesting he came out of the fight a better and more experienced fighter moving forward.
Come out fast here, but Daniel recovered well. He's learned. You can learn from his knockdowns before. He's learned a lot. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's done well, Fabio.
Dominic Ingle calls it one of the best fights he has ever witnessed, praising both Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois for their toughness and willingness to go through a brutal heavyweight war. He highlights Wardley's refusal to quit, pointing out that even when exhausted and hurt, he kept finding ways to stay in the fight without his corner pulling him out. At the same time, he commends Dubois for staying composed, sticking to his game plan, and managing his energy even when fatigue started to set in. Ingle emphasizes the back-and-forth nature of the fight, describing how both men showed heart, determination, and survival instincts in a contest that swung dramatically until the final moments.
Tell you what, it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. One of the best fights. Fair play to Fabio Wardley. What a hard man he is. He didn't want to quit. His corner didn't pull him out. And Daniel Dubois kept his composure. He kept his composure, stuck to the plan. He started to get a bit tired himself. He realised that Wardley has still got something in the tank. He kept pulling it out of the bag. He looked dead on his feet. But what a fight that was.
Dominic Ingle calls it one of the best fights he has ever witnessed, praising both Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois for their toughness and willingness to go through a brutal heavyweight war. He highlights Wardley's refusal to quit, pointing out that even when exhausted and hurt, he kept finding ways to stay in the fight without his corner pulling him out. At the same time, he commends Dubois for staying composed, sticking to his game plan, and managing his energy even when fatigue started to set in. Ingle emphasizes the back-and-forth nature of the fight, describing how both men showed heart, determination, and survival instincts in a contest that swung dramatically until the final moments.
Like just to wake up, you know, stay in reality, you know, it's just not slip. You know, I got to dig deep. And as a warrior, you have to dig deep because you've got to go to that dark place and come out on top.
David Adeli provides a tactical breakdown, explaining that Fabio Wardley didn't necessarily fall to old demons, but rather to pressure created by Daniel Dubois' consistent jab work. He highlights how Dubois repeatedly landed clean jabs every time Wardley attempted a right hand, slowly breaking his rhythm and confidence. Adeli notes that this steady, disciplined approach gave Dubois control of the fight and allowed him to build momentum round by round. He suggests that Wardley's belief in his own shots started to fade as Dubois' jab kept finding its target, gradually wearing him down and limiting his effectiveness as the fight progressed.
I think he fought old demons when he got dropped. I think he started to think old demons when he started to think his things weren't working. But you know what was giving Daniel confidence? He kept landing a jab. Every time Wardley threw a right hand, Dubois would stick a jab and it would touch his target. That there was giving Dubois hope that, okay, then I can stand in front of my target and I can land with a jab. And he knew he was softening up Wardley with a jab as the rounds went on.
David Hay is completely blown away by the fight, describing it as one of the most captivating heavyweight battles he has ever seen. He emphasizes the non-stop action, the back-and-forth momentum, and the sheer bravery shown by both fighters. Hay focuses heavily on the heart and courage displayed in the ring, saying it's exactly the kind of energy fans pay to see. He even admits he could watch the fight multiple times, highlighting how entertaining and unforgettable the contest was from a fan's and boxer's perspective.
Never seen a heavyweight fight that captivating, that entertaining, round after round, backwards and forwards. The heart on these guys, the balls, the bravery. That's what you want to pay. That's what you want to. We hope every time we tune in for a heavyweight championship, you're getting that type of energy. They both gave everything they had. I could watch that 10 times over, honest.
Daniel reflects on his performance with honesty, calling himself a warrior and explaining how he managed to recover mentally after a tough start and previous setbacks. He admits he felt nervous early on, but managed to pull himself together and secure the victory through resilience and determination. He also references the corner moment where he received a slap to refocus, explaining it helped him stay grounded in the heat of battle. His comments highlight the mental toughness required in boxing and the importance of digging deep in difficult moments.
What a warrior he is, and came through that test. You know, coming off the back of a loss, I was a bit nervy to start off with and a bit all over the place, but I pulled it together and got the victory.
Ajit Cabale describes the fight as extremely tough for both fighters, praising the dramatic swings in momentum and the unpredictable nature of the contest. He expresses genuine surprise at how the fight unfolded, noting the knockdowns and comebacks that made it such an exciting spectacle. Cabale focuses on the entertainment value, calling it a brilliant fight to watch, and highlights how both fighters showed the ability to recover from setbacks and still deliver a strong performance despite being under pressure.
This fight was very hard for the two guys, but I think for the crowd was also a nice fight. Unbelievable, I like it.
Was you surprised about the heart that Daniel showed down?
Yes, 100% I was surprised. But Daniel gave a good performance. He was in the first and then the 4 rounds, I don't know, he was 1 down.
Second, sorry?
In the second round he was down, and in the first round he was down. And
first round and second round,
crazy. But he come back, I like it.
Fraser Clark once again praises Daniel Dubois as a true warrior, acknowledging that while the fight may not have been the most technically refined heavyweight contest, it delivered pure action and intensity for the fans. He highlights the blood, grit, and relentless exchanges that define the fight, calling it exactly the type of chaos boxing audiences love. Clark reflects on Dubois' toughness and growth, suggesting that despite imperfections, he showed heart, durability, and the ability to entertain at the highest level in a brutal heavyweight war.
Yeah, well done, Daniel Dubois. Fabio Wardley, absolute warrior. It wasn't the most skilled heavyweight fight I've ever seen, but it was just what the fans wanted to see. The fans wanted that. That was blood and guts. But well done, Daniel Dubois. Good fight.
Sam Jones describes the fight as absolutely incredible, expressing shock at the dramatic momentum swings and early knockdowns where Fabio Wardley managed to hurt Daniel Dubois. He highlights Dubois' response, praising his ability to recover, regain composure, and take control of the fight by working behind his jab and breaking Wardley down over time. Jones emphasizes the toughness of both men, calling them extremely durable fighters who showed elite-level heart and determination in a brutal heavyweight contest. His tone reflects genuine admiration for the chaos, resilience, and physicality that defined the entire battle.